Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Boardroom Buddies podcast. Each podcast is themed, and I interview and ask questions from a specialist who's also the owner of a small business, just like us. If you're a business owner of a micro business, then I hope that this sparks your thinking, answers some questions that you may have, and that you get some tips on the subject that helps you move your business forwards. I do hope that you enjoy the podcast. I very much enjoyed recording it. Hello, and welcome to the Boardroom Buddies podcast. So today I have no guest. It's going to be me talking. So I don't know whether it's going to be as interesting as normal, but I am going to try to answer some of the questions about having a vision and planning your business. It is November, and it's important that certainly for my clients and when I'm working with clients, that they know at day one on 2023, for instance, that exactly what they're doing, they know where the business is going, and they know what they've got planned for next year. But this first part of the podcast is about vision. And for many of us who start our businesses, it's, the biggest concentration, I think, is that we are trying to get more sales. But if you haven't got a vision, then it's a bit like getting on a train and not knowing where you're going. So why is vision so important? Well, for that very reason, really. You need to know where you're going. How can you make the right decisions about your objectives and about your marketing activity or business development activity? And how can you even manage your business and yourself if you don't have a vision for it? So what I invite you to do, and what I like to do with my clients at this time of year, is to first of all, write out a vision or dictate a vision if you're not into writing it, and that's perfectly okay. Nobody's going to check it, nobody's going to mark it, so it's perfectly okay for you to make lots of spelling mistakes, and it doesn't even have to be in proper formal English, so long as you understand it. Most small businesses just talk about more business, and of course, it's more business often solves a lot of problems. But it isn't all of the answer to the pain and isolation that you may have or feel at some point running your small business on your own. So we'll start off by imagine that you are 12 months away. It's the 22nd of December in 2023, and you're just about to break up for Christmas, but it's your last day. And I want you to imagine getting up on that morning. Imagine what the weather is like. Imagine what you are going to be doing for that day, and then start to write it down. Put lots of descriptive detail in it. All what you're going to be doing, the activities that you're going to be doing, all the sensory detail. And when I say sensory, I mean things like describe what you're seeing, describe what people are saying about you on the 22nd of December 2023. Describe what you've achieved this past year and what you've overcome, the challenges that you've overcome. Don't start to think about how you've done it or anything like that. Just really write down all the sensory stuff that you can and put lots of description in about how you feel about it, what people have said about it, what you see, what you feel about it, because all of that is really important. Describe that perfect morning. Why is that important? Firstly, writing it in present tense stimulates the neural pathways in the brain, creating the images of what we want. But it also stimulates the emotions that go along with those images in our head. And that makes much more compelling and motivating signals to us. And when that happens, we are more likely to take the right action that we need to do to achieve what we want. It's important to write it down so that you can review it as well. And on reviewing it, if you find that something doesn't fit quite right, doesn't feel quite right, then that's something to explore with a coach or a confidant in much more detail. And remember, it's a working document. It's not the finite deal. You may need to change it as circumstances change and as your life changes, but it's a document that you can go back to, and it's almost like that plan in your head, but on paper, that you can refer to for the future. It's a really important stage one. And don't forget that your vision is about you, what you want for you and your family and your life. So, you've nailed your vision and it feels really exciting, and you get that sense of achievement, that sense of satisfaction that you've actually moved your business forwards. And once you've done that, we can then move on to the next stage. And now at this stage, ask yourself, what had to happen for you to get where you are on December the 22nd, 2023? Think about, you're waking up that morning. Think about what you've overcome, the fantastic achievements that you've had. Think about what you've avoided and maybe what you've had to let go. And most of all, what you've gained. At this stage, all you're doing is writing it down. Writing down what had to happen to get you to where you are now. Look at it as a series of events and try to avoid looking at or exploring the actual things that you did or encountered along the way. Look at it as if it's just a series of events. And why is this important? Well, partly because, on the whole, you as the business owner will already know somewhere in your head exactly what has to happen. And doing it this way relates a little bit to the vision, really. You are thinking about those things that did happen to get you where you are now at December 22nd, 2023. As the business owner, you probably know already, somewhere deep in your brain, exactly what has to happen for that to be achieved. As you do this, in a way, it's creating imagery in your head, or what you're writing is resonating with you. And most of all, you will be getting some feeling or emotion around it. At this point, don't worry about the how, because that comes later. Looking at your list for those things that had to happen to get you to where you are now, these now become your objectives. Whether that's putting things in place that have to happen, or whether you are overcoming challenges that you've already identified. You will know what is or are the most important and immediate things that you need to do. But if you're not sure, just get in touch and I will take you through a sequence of things that will help you to prioritise your actions. From your list of objectives, you may then be able to review the list and determine some of how you achieve what you need to. It may be that some of the objectives are huge and you have no idea of how you will actually get them done. But at this stage, hold your nerve. Nobody does it on their own, and so this is where having the right people around you will help you. Think about your network, people that you know, like and trust, and if you are able to tap into a mastermind, even better. Having trusted people around you where you can bounce ideas off them, get feedback that's honest, will be enormously helpful for you. And a lot of the time they come up with ideas that will actually help you achieve what you want to achieve, and they want to help you. So don't be afraid to share. It's really important. And remember that these are big goals that you're aiming to achieve. So don't just make this into everyday things that you would probably have put on your to-do list anyway. And of course, some of these things that you will have to do will not be exciting and inspiring, such as your vision will be. And we know that that's what life is like too. We can't be excited about everything that we do every single moment of every single day. But what will really help you is knowing that you are moving towards your vision, which in itself should be inspiring and exciting and excite you to think that you are going to achieve it. If it isn't, just get in touch and I'll help to ask you some more questions just to check that it does work for you, that it is what you really, really want. And although not the entire picture, the next thing to look at is marketing activity. If your issues relate to things like raising profile and gaining resources, getting more sales, that kind of thing, this is where your marketing can really come into play. It's a big area, and if you are a small business owner and you are already very busy, it's a good idea to try and outsource marketing if you possibly can, or at least some of it. Marketeer will help you get clarity around your message. And remember that marketing is not your business development activity. Very closely linked, of course, but it is a different activity. Are people perceiving you exactly how you want them to perceive you? Are you talking to your audience exactly how they need to be spoken to? And here, having a marketeer to talk to will help you enormously. Business development, on the other hand, is much more about the activity that you actually do, engaging with the people that are going to buy from you. So it could be your networking, which I strongly recommend that you do, whether that's online or face-to-face. I can't remember who said it, but there's very little that isn't resolved by more sales in a small business. So that's ultimately what you're trying to achieve. But remember, when you're networking, it isn't about so much the people that are in the room, it's whether they network and can make referrals for you. And you can make referrals to them. And this is why building business relationships is absolutely crucial. Find a group of people, or even if it's just one or two people in a group, that you can engage with, that you feel connected to, and you can start to build a business relationship with them. If you're not sure how to do that, get in touch. Because understanding what has to be there psychologically before a referral can be made can be enormously useful to know. And there are lots of things that you can do. And of course, there are networks out there that are very focused on making referrals, which are great. One of the things that I wanted to comment on was, when you are networking and you're putting yourself out there, are you showing up as the person your customers expect you to be? Does your personal brand kind of match your business brand, really? It's very important that customers are able to feel that you are authentic, that they can trust you, know you, and like you. Without that happening, you're not going to make a sale, and they're not going to buy from you or engage with you. And also, in terms of business development right now, because of the economic situation that we're in, it's useful to look at how you present your product or service and remove any barriers that might be there which are preventing people from buying from you. It could be something in a contract, it could be the way you expect people to pay that's causing a barrier. And it's worth remembering that people are buying right now because they either need to save money, or your service and product can actually help them to sell more to their customers. Think about the management of your business as well. Are your finances up to date? And do you do your own bookkeeping, or have you used or outsourced to a bookkeeper? And ask yourself, why would you spend time doing the back office stuff when you are stronger promoting your business than doing the stuff in the background? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't know what your numbers are. That's absolutely crucial. One of the things that I absolutely go on about such a lot is about putting a cash flow in place. However small you are, or your business is, it's really key to have a cash flow. It helps you make so many decisions in the right way. It gives you more information. It helps you to hold off spending money, or to know where to focus your sales and at what time. So absolutely crucial, really. And I've said it before, we set up our businesses because we're good at something, but we don't really set up the business to run a business. And it's like having another job. So not only have you got the job of delivering the service or product, you've also got the job of running the business. But do run it. Don't let it run you. And that's part of why Boardroom Buddies is in place. It's to help business owners to be able to move their business forwards, to help them to recognise the importance of taking time out to run their business and to work on their business, because it needs time, it needs nurturing, just like a garden, really. When you plant a tree or a plant, needs a little bit of care and attention. And one of the most important things in your business is time. It's invaluable and precious, and you should be spending it doing the right things for your business. After all, as a business owner, and particularly if you are a director, then you have a responsibility to do that. Spend money to save time and not the other way around. And the next thing I wanted to comment on was about how you manage yourself. You need to be fit and healthy. So these things are important. I know that sometimes you can work very long days and lots of days in a week as well. I don't really advocate that. I would always suggest that you have at least part of that working week or a day off or something like that, so that you can move away from the business and have some thinking time and some downtime, because the brain gets really tired and it doesn't function at its best. You can't have great ideas when your brain is so tired. And I know that not everybody likes to plan everything to the nth degree, but it is worth having a bit of organisation in your working week, your working day, so that there are some plans, there are some to-do lists and items written down that you must accomplish and things like that. And that's another reason why Boardroom Buddies works, because there's accountability with each other. Every month people come together, they decide what they're going to commit to doing for this month, and more often than not they do it because they've spoken about it. Think about your own self-development as well, because when you think about it, how can you develop your business if you can't develop yourself? There may be skills and some more knowledge that you need, particularly if you've got these big goals to achieve for the following year. So think about what else you can learn that will help you, not just in your business, but also in your life. Because after all, as a small business, we are not just working for the good of a corporation, we are working for our families, for what we want in our lives and what we want from our businesses. So I hope some of this has resonated with you. If you have questions about any aspect of what I've spoken about, please just get in touch. I'm always happy to have a chat. And you're always welcome to come along to Boardroom Buddies to check out a meeting and see how useful it can be for you too. So just get in touch and we can arrange that. But I'm always happy to answer questions, so get in touch. So thanks for listening to the podcast. I hope it's been useful, and take a look at some of the other podcasts. Speak soon. I do hope that you've enjoyed this episode of the Boardroom Buddies podcast. Do subscribe for more podcasts, and it would be lovely if you shared it on your favourite podcast platform. If you have any questions or you would like to talk any more on the topic, then do connect with me on LinkedIn or email me on jax, that's JAX, @jackiecasey.consulting. And thanks for listening.